It's pretty obvious the San Antonio Spurs aren't what they used to be. I mean, yeah, they still make the playoffs every season, but it's been about 3 years since they were actual contenders. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the current state of the Spurs, their need to blow this entire roster up, and what are some of the things that they need to start the rebuilding process. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, drop a like on the video, and keep post notifications turned on. I really appreciate all the love and all of the support you guys have been showing the last few videos, especially in the NBA videos with the Hawks, the Kings, and so on. And if you continue just to show that much love, it just motivates me to just put out these videos faster and faster. But anyways, guys, as usual, this entire video is to start a dialogue in the comment section below. I want to know what you guys think about this video subject, and other than that, let's get straight into the video. So as I said in the intro, the Spurs haven't been a true contender since 2017. And in that year, they had a record of 61-21 as the 2 seed in the Western Conference. And I guess it's easy to say that Zaza ruined their franchise, because Kawhi Leonard would suffer a massive, serious injury in the Western Conference Finals on some cheap stuff against the Warriors, man. I mean, Zaza, I don't rock with dudes like Zaza at all. After that, it's pretty simple. His tenure in San Antonio would be over. Eventually, they would come along to pressure him into coming back the next season, especially once the Spurs staff cleared him. And after comments from Pop, Tony Parker, and other vets on the team pretty much trying to discredit Kawhi's character and pretty much saying that he was not hurt and that literally he should be playing. I mean, Tony Parker literally went out of his way and even said that he had a more serious injury and that he was still playing. So really, it was a bad look. And after that, there was just no trust between the Spurs and Kawhi. After that rift continued to grow and grow, the Spurs would go on to make their first crucial mistake. Kawhi requested a trade, and with his reps alluding to him wanting to go back home to LA and pretty much force him to their desired destination, the second mistake would come with Pop being who he is and deciding that he wouldn't even entertain the notion of a rebuild and just holding on to Kawhi, depreciating his value as time went on, and turning down offers from the Lakers, the Celtics, the Sixers, and many other teams, and pretty much passing on players like Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Jaylen Brown, and a bunch of first-round picks. He had so many options. I understand this from Pop's point of view. I mean, obviously, this was a mistake, but he saw this as him wanting an established all-star and not wanting a iffy lottery draft pick, because literally a lottery pick is a gamble. He also didn't want struggling young players like Brandon Ingram or like Lonzo or like Fultz or like anybody else. He didn't want that. So he opted for Demar Derozan, an all-star wing player who just led the Raptors to the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. By doing this trade, he sent Kawhi outside of his conference. He got a well-established player so his team can continue to actually contend and possibly still win championships. Now, obviously, with hindsight, we know exactly what happened and just how bad this trade was. But at the time, it wasn't viewed as a terrible deal, and some people even question whether Kawhi would even still be the same player. But let's fast forward a little bit and talk about the current state of this team. It's mediocre at best. I mean, before I say anything, it's not DeMar DeRozan's fault. As a matter of fact, he's become very underrated. I was actually gonna make a video on DeMar just talking about just how underrated he actually was, so let me know if y'all need that or if I should just go ahead and keep that. He's not a good 3-point shooter, but he's definitely still a top 25 to 30 player in this league. Do not get it confused at all. He is a baller, but the roster around him is terrible. They have a washed Lamarcus Aldridge, Rudy Gay, who's a solid bench player, Patty Mills, Dejounte Murray, and let's just go ahead and let's end it there, because this team has a fetish for literally drafting shooting guards in the last few drafts, and it just seems like they just cannot get over it at all. A lot of the players that they drafted are mad underrated, but drafting them multiple years back to back at the same position is never gonna maximize their talents at all. I mean, let's be honest, Lonnie Walker, I literally came and made a video years ago saying he's gonna be a possible steal of the draft. Y'all barely giving him any minutes to even play. Then draft Keldon Johnson. Like, you guys are just hoarding guards on this team. But with that said, it's time to scrap this roster, and you better hope that you have some takers, because that Lamarcus deal is not a good deal. Luckily, he only has 1 year left, and he could be a very good player on many contending teams. And the same thing goes for Demar. He's definitely about to accept his player option, but maybe not. I've heard rumors about him just wanting to leave and possibly losing between 7 and 9 million just to go and play somewhere else, maybe even Los Angeles, or maybe go back to the Raptors. I could definitely see that happening. But honestly, looking at this roster, no one is untouchable at all. I mean, obviously, I'll try to hang on to Murray, maybe Lonnie Walker, and maybe even Keldon Johnson, but it's definitely time for this team to just get a fresh start. Currently, this team is fighting for a playoff spot, which I really hope that they don't get, because honestly, it's time for this team to face reality, because this will be the first time the Spurs don't make the playoffs since Pop's first year coaching in 1996. That is literally years before I was even born. And I know that so far this video has been pretty harsh, but look, I think that if you're not a threat to win a championship or even close, I think that hanging on is the worst thing that you can possibly do for your fans. Not making roster moves and just being content with being the 6th or the A seed, making the playoffs just to get bounced in the first round is almost as cruel as what James Dolan does to Knicks fans. And Albert Einstein said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And it really seems like the Spurs are bringing back the same roster over and over again. I would be wrong if I didn't say that the current state of the Spurs wasn't the doing of Coach Pop, because even though he's arguably the greatest coach ever, it's so obvious that his style of coaching pushed Kawhi out of San Antonio, and choosing to retool instead of rebuild with an aging roster to me was kind of foolish. Even during the NBA draft, I mean, look at the draft picks that they've got by just being a mid-level, mediocre team. They wound up getting Keldon Johnson and Luka Samanic since 2018. But if you guys were actually trying to rebuild even just a few spots, make different moves to actually maximize potential, could have Shea, Michael Porter Jr., Bobo, Matisse Thybulle, who literally is another player who would fit so well on this team, or even Tyler Hero. There's a bunch of other guys that you guys could have obviously had. But I just think that moving forward, I think it's time for like Pop to honestly retire. And I think that it's coming soon. If not this offseason. It's pretty clear that he's grooming Becky Hammon and Tim Duncan to possibly be his coaching successors. If I had a bet on who the next head coach would actually be, he's let Tim Duncan head coach games. He's done the same thing with Becky as well. I would honestly just bet on it being Tim Duncan. I know that Hammon is a good coach. He's also been an assistant coach longer, but I just think that Tim Duncan is an even better coach. He knows the system better. He's also more qualified. So to me, it's a better hire. I'm sure that some people are gonna be pretty mad about me saying that, but it's obvious. She's an amazing coach. She would also be the first female head coach in NBA history, and she definitely deserves it. However, Tim Duncan has low-key been the Spurs assistant coach for 19 years. I also see him as one of those great basketball minds, and look, I know that plenty of former players have been terrible coaches, but Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron, and even Chris Paul, those guys specifically, I mean, let's look at Larry Bird. These guys' basketball IQ is phenomenal, and all of them would actually be amazing coaches. And I also think that Tim Duncan has something that LeBron and even Kobe didn't have. I think that he's actually good at relaying it to younger people as well, which is why I think that he would be perfect as the next head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. But at the end of the day, this team needs a brand new idea as a rebuild. This year, they have the opportunity of picking up a nice young player, Tyrese Halliburton, Onyeka Okongwu, Killian Hayes, Cole Anthony, and that really just depends on where they finish at this season. But that's where I'm gonna end the video, you guys. What do you guys think about the San Antonio Spurs? I think it's time to blow up this roster, start up a rebuild, and just start fresh in general. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and like it up and subscribe. I look forward to reading all of y'all's comments. Once again, man, thanks for all of the support, all the likes, all the comments. I love reading them. Let me know who you guys think is going to be the Spurs' next head coach. I've seen so many scenarios, and who do you guys see them drafting in the 2020 NBA draft? But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. I am out. Peace, y'all.